Welcome to the Weakest Link, where any of the 9 people in the studio here today could win up to £20,000. If they want that prize money, they'll have to work as a team, but 8 of them will leave with nothing, as round by round we lose the player voted the Weakest Link. Let's meet the team.
I'm Steve Manson. I'm 45, and I'm a computer programmer.
I am Millie Barrett, I am 57, and I'm a homemaker.
I'm Roscoe Barrett, I'm 35, and I'm a forensic detector.
I'm Lily Barrett, I'm 45, and I'm a beautician.
I'm Michael Tutti, I'm 61, and I'm a deputy headmaster.
I'm Lizzie Stratton, I'm 33, and I'm a care manager.
I'm Roscoe Stratton, I'm 36, and I'm a general in the army.
I'm Sarah Stratton, I'm 59, and I'm a boutique owner.
I'm James Barrett, I'm 57, and I'm a film director.
Now the rules: in each round the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £2,000 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and lose all the money in that chain. But if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. It's important to wait for your name to be called before you say bank, otherwise the money doesn't count. Remember, at the end of the round, only money that's been banked can be taken forward. In round 1, there are 3 minutes on the clock. We start the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, James. Let's play the Weakest Link. And the first question is for £50. Start the clock. James, in the Second World War, the word commie was a derogatory term for a person belonging to which political party?
Communist.
Correct. Steve, the wife of a marquess is known by what name?
Marchioness.
Correct. Millie, the road signs in the UK that warn the users are of which geometric shape?
Triangular.
Correct. Roscoe B, the famous
Bank.
road sign in Kent, now gone, gave directions that spelt out what? Ham sandwich or beef jerky?
Ham sandwich.
Correct. Lily, in the animal kingdom, macaws are from which family of birds?
Parrots.
Correct. Michael, in which year did Microsoft release Windows 1 to the public?
1985.
Correct. Lizzie, if I bought 2 books at £3.99 each and paid with a £10 note, how much change will I get?
£2 too.
Correct. Roscoe S, what A is a type of weapon too heavy to be carried by hand and includes cannons, mortars and rocket launchers?
Artillery.
Correct. Sarah, which female artist released albums named after different ages in her life?
Adele.
Correct. James, which
Bank.
operating system was released first, Windows 2000 or Windows ME?
Pass.
Windows 2000. Steve, in maths, what is 117 divided by 3?
37.
Even 39, Steve. Millie, complete the title of this 1981 film starring Meryl Streep, The French Lieutenant's what?
Woman.
Correct. Roscoe B, what's the name of the German group who released a hit in 1988 called Keeping the Dream Alive?
Pass.
Freiheit. Lily, if I was to mix the colours red and blue together, what colour would I get?
Purple.
Correct. Michael, how many lines
Pass.
of symmetry does a... Did you just say pass? Lizzie, what would I get if I subtracted 56 from 500?
444.
Correct. Roscoe S, in the British Army, which is the more senior rank, Lieutenant General or Major General?
Major General.
Lieutenant General. Sarah, in science, what number indicates neutral on a pH scale?
5.
7. James, which picture card ranks above the jack but below the king in most card games?
Queen.
Correct. Steve, how many operational platforms are there in the station of Ride Pier Head?
2.
1. Millie, what U is a word that describes a demand or a statement which results in a breakdown of relations if it's not met?
Ultimatum.
Correct. Roscoe B, which female actress was mentioned in Vance Joy's Riptide and in Bruno Mars's Uptown Funk?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Correct. Lily, which English playwright was born in Stratford-upon-Avon in 1564 and died in 1616 on the day of his 52nd birthday? Time's up. The correct answer was William Shakespeare. You won £650, which is rather sad, because at one point you actually had a chain of 9 correct answers. So had you banked intelligently, you could have reached your target. Now who thinks a monologue is what you throw in the fire? Who is the fly in your orange juice? One of you will leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In that round, Lizzie is the first strongest link, as she answered all her questions correctly, and banked money for the team. As the only person to get 2 of his questions wrong, Steve is the weakest link. But who will lose out in this early stage of the game?
Okay, voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Michael.
Roscoe S.
Lily.
Steve.
Sarah.
Michael.
Sarah.
Lizzie.
Lizzie.
Well, we have a 3-way tie. Michael, Lizzie and Sarah have 2 votes each. So Roscoe S, remind me of what you do.
I work in the army.
Oh really? And tell me, what is your rank in the army?
I'm a general. Oh wait, I think I know where this is going.
And I wonder how everyone at the Ministry of Defence will react when they find out that you've messed the ranks up.
I didn't hear you correctly when you asked the question.
Oh, so it's my fault now, is it? So tell me, why have you voted for your mum?
I wouldn't normally vote for anyone in my family, but I felt it was the science question that did it for me.
So James, remind me of what you do.
I work as an independent film director.
Right, and I take it that you do most of your filming on the computer.
I have some experience and knowledge about computers, yes.
But not enough knowledge to know the difference between Windows 2000 and Windows ME.
I did know about that. I just panicked and passed.
Oh really? And why did you vote for Lizzie?
I had to choose someone, and Lizzie was the first person that came to my head.
Well, Sarah, there's an interesting choice you've got there. Why did you vote for Lizzie?
She had the type of questions I wish I had.
Well, if you'd realised that the strongest link gets to cast the deciding vote in this situation, you'd change your tune, because when the vote is tied, that's exactly what the strongest link gets to do. Now, Lizzie, would you like to get rid of Michael, who you voted for, or your mum, who's voted for you out of jealousy?
I'm going to change my mind, because there's really no point in getting jealous over questions, especially when you don't know what is going to turn up in a general knowledge quiz.
Well, that's fair enough. But I just need to point out that statistically, Steve was the worst player, as he was the only person to get 2 questions wrong. But Sarah, now we all know why you've been sorted into Slytherin. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Oh well, I think I should have seen that coming. I guess karma came around and bit me on the backside, especially since I tried to vote for the strongest link. I guess that is a lesson well learned.
Round 2, and you won £650. There are 8 of you left. You've lost Sarah, who thought it would be a good idea to try and get rid of her own daughter. But you still have Roscoe S, who works in the army and doesn't know his lieutenant generals from his major generals. We are now taking 10 seconds off the clock. We start the strongest link from the last round, that's Lizzie. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Lizzie, which of these places is further north? Quebec in Canada or London in England?
London.
Correct. Roscoe S, if 3 kilograms of oranges cost £3.60, how much would 6 kilograms cost?
£7.20.
Correct. James, in which year did Sega release the very first Sonic game to its consoles?
1991.
Correct. Steve,
Bang.
which city in Sussex is twinned with Chartres and Ravenna?
Chichester.
Correct. Millie, which formula is used to convert the number of bytes into a gigabyte?
2 to the power of 40.
2 to the power of 30. Roscoe B is the number 3,456 in the 9 times table.
Yes.
Correct. Lily, what H is a word used to describe what squirrels do during the winter months?
Hibernation.
Correct. Michael, what is the typical speed limit when driving down a dual carriageway?
Pass.
70 miles per hour. Lizzie, which film of the 1970s features the song Summer Nights and You're the One That I Want?
Greece.
Correct. Roscoe S. In TV, Paul Farrer, who produced the theme tune for Dancing on Ice, also produced the theme tune for which popular BBC quiz show?
The weakest link.
Correct. James, in maths, what is the total of 198 and 357?
555.
Correct. Steve,
Bang.
produced by birds and reptiles, what E is a food supply, an embryo enclosed in a shell?
Egg.
Correct. Millie, in which year was the very first volume of the Guinness Book of Records published?
1955.
Correct. Roscoe B, with which female
Bay.
artist would you associate the 2005 hit album Confessions on a Dance Floor?
Madonna.
Correct. Lily, which dessert consisting of layers of jelly, ice cream and fruit, topped with whipped cream served in a tall glass?
Knickerbocker Glory.
Correct. Michael, if a car travels at 40 miles per hour and a lorry at 40 kilometres per hour, which one is travelling faster?
The lorry.
The car. Lizzie, in chess, name one of the 2 pieces that are worth 3 points when taken.
Pass.
Knight or bishop? Roscoe S. What was the Democratic Republic of the Congo called before it was renamed in 1997?
Zaire.
Correct. James, how many ingots of gold do you need to make an ingot of netherite?
3.
4. Steve, which of these English cities is further north, Birmingham or Shrewsbury?
Shrewsbury.
Correct. Millie, to the nearest 100 miles, what is the distance between Land's End and John O'Groats?
700 miles.
Even 900 miles, Millie. Roscoe B, if there were 450 sheets of paper in one ream, how many sheets? Time's up, I can't complete the question. Now you only answered 6 questions incorrectly in that round, but you still only managed to win £500. Now who would be beaten at chess by Jordan? Who would lose their depth in a paddling pool? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In a sudden reversal of fortune, Steve has gone from being the weakest link in the last round to the strongest link in this, as he answered all his questions correctly. Michael is the weakest link, as he got all his questions wrong and lost the most money. But how will the players vote?
Okay, voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Michael.
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 Roscoe B.
Michael.
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 Now Lizzie, how did that round go for you?
It went as well as I'd hoped it would.
Right. Have you ever played chess in your life?
I have done, yes, but I couldn't work out the way the point system worked.
Right. And what exactly have you got against Michael? That's the second time you voted for him now.
I've got nothing against Michael as per se, it's just the fact I'm conscious that he's standing next to me, and his wrong answers are leaving me with nothing to bank.
Right. That's fair enough. Roscoe B, remind me of what you do.
I'm a forensic detector.
And what exactly does that entail?
We play a crucial role in gathering evidence at crime scenes.
Right. Why did you vote for Michael? What has he done that was such a crime?
A deputy head not knowing the difference between miles and kilometers? That's a whole new low, especially for my standards.
Well, statistically, he was the worst player in that round. Well, Michael, you royally screwed that one up, didn't you?
I guess the pressure got to me there. I can't believe I got both questions wrong. And given that I was a good driver as well, I should have got those.
Well, not only would this be a laughing matter for your former drivers, but it'll also be a worry for the kids' parents at the DNC primary. I think that was pretty unanimous, don't you? Now I think with 7 votes, Michael, you ought to go. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Well, That is something to be laughed at by my friends and family. I can't believe I got both questions wrong about the distances. Never mind, you live and learn, I guess. And this will come at the cost of my sanity.
Round 3 and you could have won £4,000 by now, but you haven't. What you have got is a very unimpressive 1,150. There are 7 of you left, and you've now got rid of the player in the centre of the semicircle. We are taking another 10 seconds off the clock. We start the strongest link from the last round. Steve, let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Steve, if I bought 1,250 gold bars for £100, how many can I get with £450?
5,625.
Correct. Millie, what year was the film Titanic released?
1997.
Correct. Roscoe B, to what year would I set a beta of Windows Vista if it's 1 year before its RTM?
2005.
Correct. Lily, how many E's are there in the word accessorise?
2.
Correct. Lizzie, which
Bang.
of these volumes is greater, 10 gallons or 25 litres?
25 litres.
10 gallons. Roscoe S, in which year did the last Summer Olympics take place?
2024.
Correct. James, in the song The 12 Days of Christmas, how many birds feature in the last verse?
23.
Correct. Steve, in the British Navy, what is the name given to the most senior rank?
Admiral.
Correct. Millie, in which year did the TV sitcom Friends finish?
2004.
Correct. Roscoe B, in science, what is the chemical symbol for the element silver?
AG.
Correct. Lily,
Thanks.
which Irish rock group released the hit album The Joshua Tree, which celebrated its 35th anniversary in 2022?
U2.
Correct. Lizzie, what's the name of the first book and film in the Harry Potter series?
The Philosopher's Stone.
Correct. Roscoe S, how many bits are there in a byte?
8.
Correct. James, which former prison project launched in 2004 and was scrapped in 2007 due to basic errors?
See Nomis.
Correct. Steve,
Bang.
which US state gives its name to a dessert consisting of hot meringue and ice cream?
Alaska.
Correct. Millie, does ice float in water?
Yes.
Correct. Roscoe
Bang.
B, how many octaves does a standard modern piano have?
5.
7. Lily, name one of the places that make up the portmanteau of the setting of Fireman Sam.
Pontypridd.
Correct. Lizzie, which American sitcom of the 1980s opens with the song Thank You for Being a Friend?
Pass.
The Golden Girls. Roscoe S, in maths, what is the product of 11 and 14?
Pass.
154. James, in school lessons, what does the C stand for in the acronym CDT?
Craft.
Correct. Steve, in which English county would you find the stations of Winnersh and Winnersh Triangle?
Somerset.
Even Berkshire, Steve. Millie, how many minutes worth of music can you... Time's up. I can't complete the question, and you finally woke up, guys. You won £1,500, but it's still tragic because at one point you actually had a chain of 11 correct answers. So had you banked intelligently again, it would have been another £2,000. So it's not just all about who's been getting questions wrong, but also who's been banking far too soon. Time to vote off the weakest link.
In that round, Lily is the strongest link. She answered all her questions correctly and banked the most money. Having been the strongest link in the first round, Lizzie has become this round's weakest link. But will her previous success save her when it comes to the voting?
Okay, voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Lizzie.
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 James.
James.
Lizzie.
Well, Steve, remind me what you do.
I'm a computer programmer.
And which programming language do you most specialise in?
I mainly specialise in Visual Basic.
Right, I can see where this is going. Why, Lizzie,
because I feel this is where the wheels came off for her. She played well until now, but she got 2 of her questions wrong.
Millie, remind me what you do.
I am a homemaker, making sure that everything is up and in running order.
Right, and I take it it's going to be a nice and easy job for you. Why, Lizzie?
I felt she was the weakest link in the round with 2 wrong answers.
She was. Why, Lizzie, do you ever watch TV in your spare time?
I do indeed, Dad. I'm loving some of those sitcoms that are showing lately.
Have you never heard of the Golden Girls?
Apart from the 2 drunkens you invited round the house the other night, no, I haven't.
Oh, Struth, I'm never going to live that down, am I? Lizzie, you are the weakest link. Bye.
Wow, what an absolute nightmare that round was for me. And the question of the Golden Girls reminded me of the drunkens my dad brought over to the house the other night. I ran off and spent the night with Adam.
Round 4, and of the £6,000 you could have won by now, you have in the kitty just 2,650. There are 6 of you left, and the 3 people that were in the tie in round 1 have all now been voted off. We're taking another 10 seconds off the clock. You now have only 2.5 minutes. We'll start the strongest link from the last round, that's Lily. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Lily, which of these consoles was released first, the PlayStation or the Xbox?
PlayStation.
Correct. Roscoe S., which of these sums is greater, half of 138 or quarter of 200?
Half of 138.
Correct. James, in the US, people look under the hood of a car. What do we call it in the UK?
Bonnet.
Correct. Steve, with which musical would you associate the characters Mr. Mistopheles and Grisabella?
Cats.
Correct. Millie, how many sides are there to a dodecahedron?
12.
Correct. Roscoe B., which American film of 2002 features the song Lose Yourself?
8 Mile.
Correct. Lily, in world geography, in which continent would you find K2 and Everest?
Asia.
Correct. Roscoe S.,
Bank.
if I bought 4 books at $6.99 each, what would be the total cost?
$27.96.
Correct. James, find the average in this list of numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8.
5.
Correct. Steve, what was the last version of Microsoft Office to be supported on Windows 3.11?
Office 4.3.
Correct. Millie, in which part of the UK would you find the town of Berwick-upon-Tweed?
Scotland.
England. Roscoe B., in which year of the 20th century was the board game Monopoly released?
1935.
Correct. Lily, how much would you get if you halved 512 and then added back to the original?
768.
Correct. Roscoe S., with which
Bank.
female artist would you associate the hits Do It Like a Dude and Price Tag?
Jessie J.
Correct. James, with which island of the UK would you associate the Bee Gees?
Ireland.
Isle of Man. Steve, how much is the congestion charge in London as of 2026?
£15.
£18. Millie, what is the age certificate shown on the films Top Gun and Look Who's Talking?
15.
12. Roscoe B., which American book company launched their workout dictionary in 2001?
Reader's Digest.
Correct. Lily, as of November 2025, how many numbered Now albums have been released?
Pass.
122. Roscoe S. In science, how many elements are there in the periodic table?
118.
Correct. James, on the character sheet in Pokemon, what number is Pikachu?
1.
25. Steve, what is the largest tribe? Time's up. I can't complete the question. Now you won £1,300, but again you had a chain of 10 correct answers. So had you banked intelligently, it would have been another £2,000. I sense someone's alarm clock is saying, cuckoo, time for sleep. Who wouldn't find a needle in a needle stack? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In that round, Roscoe S is the strongest link. He answered all his questions correctly and banked the money. Millie is the weakest link statistically, but will the voting follow the facts?
Okay, voting over. It's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
James.
Roscoe B.
Millie.
James.
Millie.
Roscoe B.
Well, we have another three-way tie. James, Millie and Roscoe B this time have 2 votes each. Millicent Tabitha Barrett, I take it that you being a homemaker wouldn't require you to be honest and fair in your judgment?
Of course it does, otherwise I wouldn't know how clean the house is.
Right. So would you care to explain to me as to why you're voting for your son?
Take a look at his board, and you'll see that he's voted for me as well.
Maybe it's because he's caught on to the fact that you were the worst player in that round. James Charles Barrett, what's your excuse for voting for your son?
Did you really need to give me the full name treatment, Darren?
Yes, I did, because I did the same with Millie, both in this and the original. Now tell me, James, why are you voting for your son?
Because I genuinely thought he was struggling there.
Right, and you honestly expect me to believe that? I tell you now, he's played a much better game than you so far, and he's had fewer questions. Well, Roscoe S was the strongest link, so he gets to decide. But Roscoe S, you voted for Millie, but you can, if you wish, move to either Roscoe B or James. But what would you like to do?
I'm going to stick with my original vote. I've noticed Millie's rule of 3 when it comes to me and Roscoe B, so it's only a matter of round 7 until she votes for one of us again, and most likely me.
Well, there's an interesting way of putting your vote into a prospectus. Millie, 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 Millie! You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Now this is something to take note of. I think I deserve the voting off this time, and the karma that struck my sister in round 1 has now struck me here. I love the way Darren sent me off in the style of Ruby by the Kaiser Chiefs. I'd never heard that before.
Round 5, and so far you have £3,950, but of course had you hit your targets by now that would be 8,000. There are 5 of you left, another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start the strongest link from the last round. That's Roscoe S. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Roscoe S, in which year did Tolkien release his novel The Hobbit?
1937.
Correct. James, which of these sizes is larger, kilobyte or megabyte?
Megabyte.
Correct. Steve, find the product of 9 and 20.
180.
Correct. Roscoe B, with which Jamaican artist would you associate the hits One Love and Three Little Birds?
Bob Marley.
Correct. Lily, which CEO died of pancreatic cancer in 2011?
Steve Jobs.
Correct. Roscoe West, which operating system reversed its startup sound for a shutdown sound?
Windows NT4.
Correct. James, what is the equivalent term for a cubic meter?
Pass.
A litre. Steve, with which American artist would you associate the hits Marry You and The Lazy Song?
Bruno Mars.
Correct. Roscoe B, which cereal has the tagline Give Those O's a Go?
Cheerios.
Correct. Lily, how many times can you fit 16 into 1024?
54.
Even 64, Lily. Roscoe S, which Bee Gees song did Steps cover in 1999?
Tragedy.
Correct. James, which female artist teamed up with Bruno Mars for the 2024 hit Died With a Smile?
Pass.
Lady Gaga. Steve, which classical composer is known for the Water Music Suite and a Hallelujah chorus?
Handel.
Correct. Roscoe B,
Bang.
with which Swedish rock group would you associate the hits Seven Doors Hotel and The Final Countdown?
Europe.
Correct. Lily, if all the railway stations were listed in alphabetical order, which one would come last?
Pass.
Well banked. Astrid Rolfer. Roscoe S, what is the maximum number of points you can score in the card game Blackjack?
21.
Correct. James, if a candle burns through 20% of its 55-hour burn time, how many hours is that?
22.5.
Wrong. 11. Steve, what is the maximum number of points you can score in a round of Bop It?
Pass.
100. Roscoe B, can sound waves travel in a vacuum?
No.
Correct. Lily, in the Northern Hemisphere, which season lasts from the vernal equinox to the summer solstice?
Spring.
Correct. Roscoe S, which company manufactures the Xbox Series consoles?
Microsoft.
Correct. James. Time's up. Didn't fancy banking, James. Couldn't be bothered. Bit too much work for you. Well, in that round, you won £700. Here is the keepsake, and who is he? Oh, for goodness sake. Here is the top dog, and who is now chasing their tail? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
For the second time in a row, Roscoe S is the strongest link, as he banked the most money. With only one correct answer, James is the weakest link. But what factors will the players take into account as they cast their votes?
Okay, voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
James.
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 Roscoe S.
Now, if there's one thing I'm noticing from you guys, it's the fact that you're banking one target over 2 rounds. If we can get this to become one target in 1 round, that would be fantastic. Roscoe B, why are you voting for your dad?
I wouldn't vote for anyone in my family, unless I have a genuine reason to, and I felt he was the weakest link in that round.
So Lily, how's it going for you so far?
It's going all right so far. I can only hope I'm doing my children proud.
I'm sure you are. Now, why are you voting for your dad? This is the second time you voted for him now.
My dad has played a blinder of a game, but I've noticed the pressure getting to him in the last 2 rounds.
Well, he was certainly the worst player in that round. Well, James, what happened to you, brother? Seems like the wheels have come off in that round.
I don't know. 1 minute I was on top form, and now I feel like the pressure's on top of me.
I think this will be the time to put you out of your misery. James, you are the weakest link. Bye.
You know what? I'm so relieved to get out of there. The pressure had been piling on me for the past couple of rounds, and coupled by the tension of the game. I've enjoyed myself, but I definitely had my run.
Round 6 and you have £4,650. That is out of potential prize money of 10,000. There are 4 of you left, with cutting another 10 seconds from your time. And start the strongest link from the last round, that's Roscoe S. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Roscoe S, excluding jokers, how many cards are in a standard pack?
52.
Correct. Steve, when initially launched, which piece of software allowed you to do dance, rave and hip-hop mixes?
EJ.
Correct. Roscoe B, in 2011, the BBC launched a switchover scheme to help users switch what device over to digital?
TV.
Correct. Lily, which biblical character was thrown into a den of lions?
Daniel.
Correct. Roscoe S, name one of the 2 ingredients that makes up a PBJ sandwich.
Jam.
Correct. Steve, how many ingredients would you expect to find in the cereal shredded wheat?
2.
1. Roscoe B, which fruit appears in the song with the repeating line, daylight come and we want to go home?
Banana.
Correct. Lily, how many bones are in the human body?
206.
Correct. Roscoe S, how many minutes worth of music can you fit onto 1 CD?
80.
Correct. Steve, which year did Facebook launch its website?
2007.
Even 2004, Steve. Roscoe B, with which Norwegian pop group would you associate the hit The Sun Always Shines on TV? Correct. Lily, which city in Hampshire would you find 2 railway stations, a ferry link, a hovercraft and the Spinnaker Tower?
Portsmouth.
Correct. Roscoe S, in a game of chess, how many points is the Queen worth if she's captured?
8.
Correct. Steve, whose debut hit single in 2003 was I Don't Want You Back, known for containing 33 expletives?
Eamon.
Correct. Roscoe B, which part of Australia was known as Van Diemen's Land?
Tasmania.
Correct. Lily, how many letters are in the full spelling of clavicle?
58.
Correct. Roscoe S, if I bought a £90 suit at a 30% discount, what would be the new cost?
£63.
Correct. Steve, on the London Underground, how many stations are served from the Waterloo and City line?
2.
1. Roscoe B, in the English language, how many letters are... Time's up, I can't complete the question. Now, you only answered 3 questions incorrectly in that round, but still you only managed to win £400. Now consider this, Should Roscoe S be given his marching orders? Has Roscoe B's job become a crime? Maybe Steve's been hacked. Or does Lily need to brush up? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
For a third time in a row, Roscoe S is the strongest link, as he banked the most money. For the second time in the game, Steve is the weakest link, as he was the only person to get any questions wrong. But, will his previous performance be enough to save him from the vote?
Okay, voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Roscoe S.
Steve.
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 But that was pretty conclusive. Lily, why did you vote for Steve?
Because he was the only person I know of to get any questions wrong.
Roscoe B, why did you vote for Steve?
I was conscious of the fact that he left me with nothing to bank, and felt that he was the weakest link in that round.
He was. Wow, Steve, that one station that is served on the Waterloo and City line is called Bank, which was something you should have done before attempting to answer that question.
I think it is the case of oops.
It's more than just a case of oops. That wrong answer cost you £600. It's also cost you your place on the team. Steve, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Well, that was something to be expected. But £600? I didn't realise it was that much. Nonetheless, I've had an absolute blast. And I'm proud of how far I've got in the game. I may have lost, but I'm leaving with my head held high.
Round 7 and you have £5,050. That's our potential prize money of £12,000. There are 3 of you left. We're cutting another 10 seconds from your time. We start the strongest link from the last round. That's Roscoe S. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Roscoe S. in 2005, pop group Miss Lopi released their debut hit named after which heavy goods vehicle?
JCB.
Correct. Roscoe B. Which of these lengths is longer, 90 seconds or 2.5 minutes?
2.5 minutes.
Correct. Lily, which operating system was in its development state in late 2011?
Windows 8.
Correct. Roscoe S. What would I get if I added a baker's dozen to 2 score?
53.
Correct. Roscoe B. Which hair brand closed its Basingstoke headquarters in 2011 after 44 years in the industry?
Well,
correct. Lily, complete the title of this Cole Porter song. Let's do what?
Make love.
Let's do it. Roscoe S. in UK Transport, how many railway stations in Hampshire are managed by Southern Railway?
2.
Correct. Roscoe B. Which planet was mentioned in the 1986 hit single The Final Countdown?
Venus.
Correct. Lily, how many bytes are there in 2 kilobytes?
2048.
Correct. Roscoe S. Which of these battery sizes is larger, C or D?
D.
Correct. Roscoe B.
Bang.
Complete the rest of this counting rhyme. Tinker, tailor, soldier, sailor.
Rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief.
Correct. Lily, name one of the 2 destinations at either end of the Cambrian coastline.
I don't know.
Pwllheli or Aberystwyth? Roscoe S. What time is 5:15 in the evening on the 24-hour clock?
1750.
Correct. Roscoe B. How many hours behind Greenwich Mean Time is the state of California?
7.
8. Lily, in a box of 40 chocolates, 8 of them are dark chocolate. What's this as a percentage?
Pass.
20%. Roscoe S. In world history, how is Constantinople now known as in modern day Turkey? Time's up. The correct answer is Istanbul, and you won £550. Now in round 8 you get the chance to triple what you bank, so in the next round there's £6,000 to be won. The question is, who are you going to hang on to? Who are you going to get rid of? In order to raise the bank balance as high as you can possibly get it, I urge you to hang on to your biggest rival. Have the nerve and the courage to vote off the weakest link.
For the 4th time in a row. Roscoe S is the strongest link. He answered the most questions correctly and banked £400 for the team. With the fewest correct answers, Lily is the weakest link. But who will be taking the final walk of shame?
Okay, voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Lily.
Roscoe S.
Lily.
Well, I've just got to point out, just before we go any further, that the teamwork in this team has been phenomenal. Now, Roscoe S., why did you vote for Lily?
She's played an amazing game so far, but luck unfortunately had run out.
Roscoe B., why did you vote for Lily?
She was showing the strain in that round. You can see it in her eyes.
Well, she was certainly the worst player in that round. But Lily, this song, Let's Do Make Love, can you sing it for us?
I would love to, Darren, but it is a little too vocal for this show, I'm afraid.
Right. Well, Lily, the statistics show that you were the worst player in that round and you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
You know what? I've had an absolute blast, and I'm proud of how far I've come. The two Roscoes have played an absolute blunder of a game so far, so all that's left for me to say is, may the best Roscoe win.
Round 8, and you have £5,600, which is out of potential prize money of £14,000. Roscoe Barrett and Roscoe Stratton, just the two of you left, and this time you have only 90 seconds. But whatever you win in this round will be tripled and added to make up your final prize money. The £6,000 is at stake in this round. We start the strongest link from the last round, that's Roscoe S. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Roscoe S, where in Hampshire was the original location of Glenwood Secondary School?
Cowplane.
Correct. Roscoe B, with which American rapper would you associate the hit My Name Is?
Eminem.
Correct. Roscoe S, in which English county would you expect to find the seaside resort of Plymouth?
Devon.
Correct. Roscoe B, which operating system was released first, Windows or Linux?
Linux.
Correct. Roscoe S, including The Hobbit and the Unfinished Tales. How many books are there in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings collection?
5.
Correct. Roscoe B, in what year was the very first Tom and Jerry cartoon broadcast?
1940.
Correct. Roscoe S, in which year did YouTube launch its website to the public?
2005.
Correct. Roscoe B, what type of drinks are Red Bull and Monster?
Energy drinks.
Correct. Roscoe S, which programming language is used by billions of devices worldwide, Java or Python?
Java.
Correct. Roscoe B, in which English city would we find the hull of the Merry Rose?
Coventry.
Portsmouth. Roscoe S, the killing of which bird was considered bad luck by sailors?
Pass.
Albatross. Roscoe B, in Greek mythology, a minotaur is half man, half what?
Bull.
Correct. Roscoe S, which calendar, also called New Star, did Britain adopt in 1752 and Russia in 1918?
Gregorian.
Correct. Roscoe B, in economics, for what do the initials RPI stand?
Pass.
Time's up. The correct answer is retail price index. Well, guys, you won £450, which is really rather heartbreaking, because at one point you actually had a chain of 9 correct answers. So, had you banked intelligently, that would have been another £2,000, and that would have been tripled. But we will triple the £450 and add that to the winnings from the previous rounds. That gives you final prize money today of £6,950. But of course, only one of you can take that away, so you'll now play against each other head to head. I'll ask alternate questions, best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins. It's as simple as that. If there's a tie after 5, we'll go for sudden death until we have a winner. So, Roscoe B and Roscoe S, for £6,950, let's play the weakest link. Roscoe S, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I'll go second, please.
Roscoe B. Which electronic toy allegedly got its name from the Japanese for lovable egg?
Tamagotchi.
That is the correct answer. Roscoe S. In classical music, John Broadwood and Sons are manufacturers of which musical instrument?
Piano.
That is the correct answer. Roscoe B. Who was crowned King of England on Christmas Day in 1066?
William the Conqueror.
That's correct. Roscoe S. What was the first name of the English landscape painter Constable?
John.
That is the correct answer. Roscoe B. Which English city is home to the Museum of British Road Transport and the Belgrade Theatre?
Coventry.
That is the correct answer. Roscoe S. With which genre of film would you most commonly associate the actor Gary Cooper?
Westerns.
That is the correct answer. So at this moment, you are currently neck and neck. Roscoe B, to take the lead. Of the egg-laying mammals, which is the only one that can produce poison?
Pass.
The correct answer is the platypus. Roscoe S. What non-stick material was invented in 1938 by Roy J. Plunkett?
Teflon.
That is the correct answer. Roscoe B, you need to answer this question correctly to remain in the game. In nature, Glenmoy and Morling Admiral are varieties of which soft berry?
Raspberry.
That is the correct answer. Roscoe S, if you answer this question correctly, you've won. So for £6,950. Stella McCartney was appointed chief designer of which French couture house in 1997?
Pass.
The correct answer is Chloe. And after 5 questions each, your scores are tied. So we now go into a sudden death situation. The questions will continue in pairs. Roscoe B, if you answer correctly, Roscoe S will have to answer correctly as well, or he will lose. And Roscoe B, if you get your question wrong, and Roscoe S answers correctly, he will win. So, Roscoe B and Roscoe S, for £6,950, let's play Sudden Death. Roscoe B, in Greek mythology, Hera was the wife and sister of which god?
Zeus.
That is the correct answer. Roscoe S, by what English name is the Rio de la Plata in South America known?
The River Plate.
That is the correct answer. Roscoe B, the Gibson Desert is situated on which continent?
Asia.
No, the correct answer is Australasia. Roscoe S, in UK geography, what W is a town in Nottinghamshire which lies on the River Ryton?
Woking.
No, the correct answer is Worksop. Roscoe B, in maths, what name is given to an angle greater than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees?
Reflex angle.
That is the correct answer. Roscoe S, in which 1941 film does Humphrey Bogart star as the hard-drinking private eye Sam Spade?
Maltese Falcon.
That is the correct answer. Roscoe B, according to tradition, what did the Pilgrim Fathers name the spot where they landed in 1620?
Pass.
The correct answer is Plymouth Rock. Roscoe S, in which American city was the Juilliard School of Music founded in 1946?
New York.
That is the correct answer. That means, Roscoe S., you are today's strongest link and you go away with £6,950. Roscoe B., tough battle, but you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link. Goodbye.
Wow. What a game that was between me and Roscoe S. That was something truly epic, and I'm thrilled that the best man won it in the end. I'm proud of how far I came, and of what was achieved.
Oh my goodness. I won. I actually won the weakest link. I can't believe this has happened. Somebody pinch me. I must be dreaming up the whole thing.